Welcome back to the Sunday Roast, round 3. You fucking beauty. Dobe, how are you, sir?
Mate, I'm very good. We are undefeated, the Blues, so very happy. 2 and a draw. So sitting third on the ladder, Jev, and sitting pretty. How are you?
I'm good. It's actually not the Sunday Roast right now. It's actually the Sunday Scrambled Eggs as we speak right now because I'm going to the footy. I'm going to Swans Melbourne, the Savo. So we're getting the first half of this pod done this morning, Sunday morning, and then you're going to bring us home with Morgs, I believe, tonight. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited to go see the Swans beat the D's. It's Clayton Oliver's 150th. He's had as good as 150 games as anyone in the history. He's an absolute star. But I
Is
think
he still at the top of your pyramid?
he's going to be on the. He is. It's Pyramid Week, so I changed it this week. I think he's going to stay on top. I'm going to watch him today. I think the Swans are going to tag him. So who knows? Jeremy Cameron plays today. Charlie Curnow was good yesterday, but he kicked too many points. Who knows? Cripps had 42 yesterday. He was unbelievable.
He was very good.
20 contested, 10 clearances. Fucking good. So let's get into it. So Dogs versus Lions. The Dogs finally kicked off their season and got it done under lid against the Lions by 14 points. After a big week personally, Jamari Ugle-Hagan kicked the first at 15-1. You had a good look at this game, Das. What did you see?
It was a very scrappy game. I hated this game. I teased the Lions into a plus 4.5, and they couldn't hold on to that. So that was my money gone on the end of that game, Jev. But very scrappy the last quarter. There wasn't a goal for 15 minutes. Look, I thought Bont was best on ground by a mile. Oh, Morgs is bringing me in a tea here. So the Sunday Roast, I'm getting a tea brought in. Thanks, Lou. All right, so Jev, yeah, as I said, super scrappy game. Bont easily best on. He had 28 touches, 8 clearances, 6 tackles, and the one that really got them going was that tackle in the first quarter against Zach Bailey. I'm not sure what he was doing. I think thought he was playing State of Origin. Tried to run straight through him from about 15 metres. Bont was unbelievable. I might as well get into my other votes. Bit of a hard one. I think I'm going to give Neil 2 for 31 disposals. He was the only one in that side that really tried to get them going. And Jamari, look, I know he kicked 5 goals. He's only getting the 1 vote, even though he kicked 5 out of those 10 goals. 1 came from a free kick. 1 was Joe Lagoose out the very back of the end. So he had 3 good goals. Don't think it's awarding of maybe 2 or 3 votes. So I've given them 1, and also Harris Andrews was unbelievable.
Yeah, you gotta respect Bont. I think him and Sam Darcy had a combined 4 touches the week before.
Yeah,
and he's kicked 5 out of the 10. He's kicked 5 out of 10 goals for the Dogs, Jamara. So I'm very happy for him. It's a big game. Hopefully he can keep a bit of form going.
100%.
So that was your Brownlow votes. Any big bets in that game you hit or anything?
I didn't, but the multi of the night, Jev, if you put it on, if you had Jamara for the first, Jamara for 5, and also Gunston for $3 on that gets you $4,515. So Jamara was paying 51 for 5, and also, as you said, Jev, 15 for the first.
Geez, that would have been nice. Fucking hell.
Absolutely.
Collingwood, next game, Collingwood-Richmond, Friday night. The Pies get it done again on the G, on prime time, over the Tigers by 14 points. Shai Bolton kicked the first at 14s and looked like he was about to explode, but it was all Collingwood after that until halftime. Watching this, and I watched it with you, I personally thought they should have been up by about 8 goals at halftime, but bad kicking is bad football. They kicked 3 goals, 10 in the first half, kept Richmond in it by just missing opportunities, and I think they hit the same post about 3 times in the first half. Richmond came out at the halftime with a sniff and kicked the first couple of goals, got the margin to about 3 points, but I think Collingwood were just clearly better. They were healthier. They just got it done. It was a bit wet at the G, and yeah, what did you think, Dove?
Yeah, no, 100%. They could have been a mile in front, but obviously Dimmer and that group, they still love that surge footy, and you do give them a sniff, and they do have a crack. One of their best players, the Tigers, Liam Baker, I thought he was unbelievable. 32 touches, 74% of his touches were in the back half of the ground, and 78% efficiency on his kicks. Still managed 7 score involvements from the back line, so I thought Liam Baker was unreal. But the Pies is just far too good, Jev.
They are. They're going to be hard to beat. Losing Darcy Cameron hurts, and Mason Cox has a rib injury, so a big ruckman could give them trouble, I reckon. Some stats. So Degoe had 35. He paid 14-1 for 35, Das, which is bloody delicious.
Wow.
Tom Mitchell back to 30, $2.70 for 30. Nick Dacos another 30, $1.87 for 30. Liam Baker had 30. He paid $7.75 for 30, Liam Baker.
Jeez, that's cool.
How nice is that? And only Jamie Elliott and Jack Riewoldt were the multiple goal kickers of the night with 2 each. My Brownlow votes, I gave 3 to Degoe. I gave 2 to Josh Dacos and 1 to Liam Baker. How does that sound to you?
That were exactly my votes as well.
Yeah, I thought Liam Baker was very good, even in the loss. DeGoey
Yeah.
was clearly best on. Same again with the Pies. You could have thrown a blanket over who you give Brownlow votes to. Mitchell was good. Dacos was good again. Frampton and Nathan Murphy in the back line were great. Ash Johnson looked dangerous. So it is
He could be anything. And
He was,
Tom Mitchell's he's been
yeah,
exactly what they just another senior player. Like between him, Steele, Sidebottom, and Pendlebury around near the footy, unbelievable.
yeah. It was they're on fire right now, the Pies. But they did look beatable for the first time, I reckon. Oh, maybe it's them kicking 10 points, but I reckon a team's going to beat them in the next couple of weeks. I'll have to look at
With the Blues.
when the Blues got them.
June, I think June 16th.
You'll
Mate.
be there.
I reckon we'll split a game with them this year. We have to. They've
Yeah,
got the last few over us. We're due.
Hawthorn versus North Melbourne. Clarko versus Sammy Mitchell. I was going to eat that versus Now It Tastes Like Cucumber down in Tassie. Hawthorn get their first win of the year by 19 points. The strongman Curtis Taylor kicks the first at 26-1. You could finally see this attacking game plan Sam Mitchell has been trying to coach at Hawthorn. They were great moving the ball compared to the last 2 weeks. I thought they defended a little bit more with ball in hand. So less risk when they first win it. Get possession, set up the ground, then go from there. They didn't blaze away inside 50. They lowered their eyes. They took what was given to them. They were up by about 35 points at halftime. North did come back and got it back to about 5 points, but the Hawks were good enough to hold on. Now, Das, my man LDU, he was ruled out about 10 minutes before the bounce with calf tightness, and I just can't help to think it would have gone different if he played. They looked a mid-short. They're definitely missing Jai Simpkin as well. So I don't think this is the end of the world for North, but credit to Hawthorn and credit to Sam Mitchell for having bragging rights over Clarko. You watch this game as well.
Yeah, 100%. Well, LDU with that laid out, it just, when you don't have him and Simpkin around the source of the footy and right in their engine room, they lacked explosiveness. Like even in the start a little bit, like Zerha hasn't played too much in the middle. You still had like guys, like the other guys in the middle just weren't being able to get their hands on and use it as much. But yeah, as you said, the Hawks just kept daring. They try to go through. Dylan Moore is a fucking star. He would be impossible to play at local level, Jev. He would average 25 and 5 a game. He was unreal. He played really well. But also, Jev, this would have been a nice little multi of the day, just a small one. Tyler Brockman for 3, Jev, and Cam Zerha for 2. If you had that, that's 64-1.
Yeah,
so
I've got
3 for 3.
I got some stats here, yeah. Dylan Moore, your boy Dove, you absolutely love him. He had 26 and 2. He paid $1.84 for 2 and $3.35 for 25. I reckon he definitely has to be on 20 watch in the next 100K bet. He started his season with 26, 23, and 20, so
I'd almost have to check. Last year, I swear to God, he averaged 20 and 1.
Yeah.
He always took the first goal, like so often.
Yep, your other boy James Sicily, he had 28. You had him in the 100K for 25. Will Day had a career best game with 29. He paid $2.60 for 25. Sheasel another 26. And as you said, big Tyler Brockman, he kicked 3. He paid 23-1 to kick 3. They are great odds. You just look at that and you go, that doesn't look right. That's where we're going to have just a 5 or a 10 on that. Great game for him.
100%.
Carlton versus GWS. The Blues get it done by 10 points. Jesse Hogan kicks the first at 16-1. It wasn't the cleanest, best game of footy I've ever watched, though, but your boys get it done. What did you see?
Mate, the first bit of the game was actually pretty good. It was pretty clean. The ball was moving through. Then after that, it was so scrappy. Towards the end, I was cracking the shits. I was sitting down with the Shark. He genuinely says that I'm impossible to watch footy with now. He reckons I'm just grunting and growing, come on, fish, come on, Crips, the whole time. So he was getting pissed off. But look, Jeff, the 4 really big players in this match, I thought Cripps was unreal. Kerno up forward was really good. Doherty was really good. And also the umpires, Jeff, they really stood up for us late. I'm telling you what, that free kick, no, seriously, if that was on the other foot, I was actually pissed off. That was a genuine joke. If that was the other way, I would have lost my shit.
If that happened, if that was at the MCG and GWS got that free kick and they basically won the game from there and Carlton were on the other hand, oh my God, that would have been bad. That was really bad.
It's a joke. But anyway, we won't touch on it because that's not what we're here to do, Jeff. But that really pissed me off. But the votes, Cripper definitely got 3, 42 touches, 13 clearances, won it at the source, got it where he had to. I thought Doc was our second best. He had 39 and a goal, 136 fantasy points, which is a shit ton. And then I've got to give one to Josh Kelly. Thought he competed really well all day, 30 and 1. But the multi of the game, Jev, if you have Tom Green, so this is a 35 club. Everyone got 35. You had Tom Green for 35, Cripps, and Doherty, that pays $154.
Oh, geez, that would have been nice. And stiff not to get a vote, you got to say Nick Newman is stiff.
Oh,
He was
he'll get.
unbelievable on Toby Green. We had Toes for 2 in our 100K bet.
I think for Brownlow votes, no. In team votes, he'd
Yeah.
be up there. Like that is one of the best clamp jobs. Like he was unbelievable. I don't think he fucked up once. Like competed really well, used it well, had 24 touches, 9 marks. He did really well. So Nick Newman,
I think
just
they
give me a
said,
new role, just clamp someone.
I think they said on the Sunday Footy Show, I think Toby Green only had 4 or 5 disposals. They said that was his lowest ever in a game.
I'd have to be close to it.
He was well held. You could see he was still trying. He just had a dog of a day. Kicked that nice goal.
Forwards.
He kicked that nice goal. Yeah, they bombed away. Jesse Hogan was good, but yeah, GWS are a lot better than I thought they were going to be. You can see they're pretty well coached, and you can see they're A-graders. Lockie Whitfield murdered the ball a couple of times yesterday, which cost them. But yeah, credit to Carlton. You've got to win games. You've got to go in. It's not easy to go into state and win. They're the only third team of the year to do it. So you got to.
I didn't care how we won. You don't win flags in April. It's just we just need to stack wins to make finals. As long as towards the back end of the year we're figuring that shit out. I didn't care how we got out of there, but as long as we got out with 4 points and we did. So onwards and upwards, Jevy, to the slaughtery next week.
When is Harry Mackay going to explode?
It has to be this week. It has to be Jev. He's only kicked 1 goal for the year. I will back him for 5 this week. They'll be paying a bomb.
Will Ben Mackay play on him, you reckon? Is he playing?
It's the same person.
Next game, St Kilda versus Essendon. I was a bit harsh on the Saints. I said St Kilda celebrating 150 years of disappointment, but 150-year anniversary in what was a massive night. Tony Lockett's skeleton was in attendance. Jeez, he's looking thin. 70,000 at the MCG. They got the job done over Essendon by 18 points. Mason Wood kicked the first at 16-1. We both watched this game, Das. What did you see?
Mate, the Saints started red hot. So they started first quarter 5-4 to 1-1 at quarter time. The Bombers really then had to claw back and finally start to get the ball going. They got it back on their terms a little bit. They actually got it back to 61 apiece late in the game, Jev. And then the Saints just kicked away again. Their smalls were incredible. Mason Wood, where's he come from, Jev?
Yes.
Out of the woodwork. He was close to best on. If anything, I'd probably give him close to my 3. Cal Wilkie, Jev, I know you have a bet with a very strong Saints supporter saying he'll be in the All-Australian squad of 40. I believe you got a Palmer and a pint on it, but
yes.
I tell you what, 19 disposals, Jev, 13 marks, 90% efficiency. He was fantastic. And look, you could split this one vote with a lot of guys, but just because I used to have to coach against him, but Jack Higgins, when he's on, he's on. So him for 18 disposals and 4 goals.
Yeah, him and Dan Butler, they were looking super dangerous. You can see the pop the collar after the goal was very funny. If you were an Essendon supporter, you would have fucking hated that. I couldn't help but laugh because I just know how dumb that kid is, but I'm happy for him. I'm very happy for him.
He's so funny. Saints posted a video the other day. If you had 150 grand, what would you buy? And people are like, I'd go on a holiday, I'd do this. He's like, I'd buy a Tesla.
Oh, fucking hell.
Oi, Jev, here you know how we had the other Geelong multi that paid 148. This is our multi of the year so far. This pays the most.
Yeah.
If you're Nick Martin for 25, Jai Caldwell for 2, Jack Higgins for 4, and Dan Butler for 4, $174,216 for $1.
God, wouldn't that be nice?
Dan Butler was paying $61 for 4.
61?
61.
Oh, we'll never get those odds again. I had Jade Gresham for 2, and he didn't kick one to the last quarter. And then he took a mark and he gave the Joe the Goose to Brad Hill. It cost me on Here Comes the Money. I was watching it. I'm like, just kick this Gresham. He's giving it over the top to Brad Hill, so it's cost me. And I also had Essendon plus 20.5, and Dilshield kicked the goal with 10 seconds to go to cover that line for me. So I'm
because I had them at plus 28, and I thought they were over. And then they kick one and they got another one late, so I was safe. So I've got one bet to go, and Here Comes the Money. You've got a couple, Jev, so we need
I got to nearly apologise to the Saints. I said they're closer to a wooden spoon than they are to making finals before the season. The Saints supporters have come for me, so I'm harsh on them. So credit to him. Shows how good Ross Lyon is as a coach. He's changed him.
100%.
100%. Adelaide versus Port Adelaide, the 53rd showdown. This was an absolute cracker with Adelaide getting it done by 31 points. Sam Powell-Pepper kicked the first at 17-1. It was a fucking hot start. There was 11 goals kicked in the first quarter. Everyone was jacked up for the showdown, and it was a goal fest. It was all tied up at 57 apiece at halftime. goal for goal in the third and fourth. Then Crows turned it on and kicked the last 5 of the game. God, it was a good game to watch. The crowd was electric, and there's some of these young Crows are absolute stars. Did you watch this game as well, Darcy?
I only watched bits and pieces. My internet was down, so I was trying to flick between my phone, my laptop, and the TV. Says I was using too many KO accounts, so it was pissing me off. I had Jordan Dawson, Jev. We had him for 20, and you said, mate, he started white hot, so I was getting excited, and then checked at the end, he only had 18, so he's fucked us.
At the 5-minute mark of the first quarter, he had 5 possessions, a goal, 2 direct goal assists, and was like dominating the game. And he ended up with 18. It was fucking, I don't know how. Isaac Rankin in his first showdown, he kicked 4. He paid $12.50 for 4. I had 10 on that. I won $125, which I was pretty wrapped with. Riley Thilthorpe kicked 5 at 91-1, Das.
91.
91. And we got a DM from one of our followers. I saw last night. He had 10 on Thilthorpe to kick 5, and he won $910. How nice is that? Your boy Pedler, he popped up for 3. He was 26-1 for 3.
He has a crack. I'll tell you what, he may not be the most gifted footballer. He's a guy that will get under the skin of players and have a crack. I love the way he goes about it.
So this was another multi of the night, Darcy. If you multied Thilthorpe for 5, Rankin for 4, and Pedler for 3, 29,575 for $1. Oh God, how nice would that been?
I'll tell you what, Jeff. All these multis we keep reading out are just big goal scores. We need to. I'm out of money on my personal account. I'm going to chuck another 10 in there today, maybe 20. See if I can get a Marbiol Chol for 5 and like a
50 cent. Put like 50 cent. Like
multiple.
Like Joel Jeffrey for 3 into
for 5.
Tyson Stengel for 4.
Yeah,
that could genuinely hit. So
get a couple of these going, and we'll review it after.
I thought Connor Rosie with 28 in a goal was Port's best player, along with Sam Powell-Pepper. Sam Powell-Pepper looks super dangerous with everything he touched in the forward line. He kicked 3 and had 15. He paid $8 for 3, which is nice. Big Chaz Dixon was strong. So now, Das, there was a straight-up robbery in Adelaide last night.
Tell me what happened.
I had $10 on Isaac Rankin in his first showdown to win the showdown medal at 26-1.
Yep.
His family, number 1, David King, number 2, and me are his 3 biggest fans in the world. All right? I absolutely love the bloke. He didn't win the showdown medal after he kicked 4, 17 touches, 8 score involvements. No, a man that had 18 touches, 1 goal, and cost us the 100k multi at 15-1. Jordan Dawson won the showdown medal. I should be $250 fucking rich. I don't know how Rankin didn't win, or even Thilthorpe. I thought he kicked a couple of cheapies, but still 5's 5. Like, oh God.
That sucks. And we had our players multi, Jeff, so we had our 2 best leagues for every game, and we were wiping the floor with it. So we have watch this thing get up for the rest of the day. Let's hope Sportsbet have a look at it and try and pay us out because it deserves a win. Jordan Dawson going back to the ball will piss me off for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I don't know how he didn't get to 20. And at the end, they were trying to save the game, so he was like right behind the ball, and he got 1 kick. He got a kick out of it, and I was hoping Port would kick 2 more points. He'd get 2 more kick outs, but just wasn't to be. So we're going to pause the podcast here. Are you watching Geelong Gold Coast today?
Man, I'm watching them all.
You're going to have to talk about Swans Melbourne. I'm going to go to the game and watch the game, and I'm fucking excited. I'll send you a couple of voice clips, and then the Derby tonight.
Yeah.
Make sure you've got the screenshots of what people pay for the medal. What's it called? The Glendenning medal or whatever. Yep. It's always good to see because I'll give a couple of odds out because someone like Jeremy McGovern, he's on fire at the moment. He could be winning that medal.
Yeah, you want someone left of field now. You want like a Nathan O'Driscoll.
O'Driscoll, your boy. He'll be at 41-1.
Watch him kick a goal from the left side of the field with his left foot. He does every game.
Or it could be Andy Brayshaw decides to put Freo on his shoulders today, get him their first win of the season, and show why he is like a top 5 Brownlow medal favourite. So I'm looking forward to all the games today. I want to see Geelong get a win on the board. I want to see Jeremy Cameron kick 6 again.
Yep.
I want to see Matt Real get 20. We love Rowley. So pause this for now. You'll finish this off.
Yep.
Same thing. It'll be posted Sunday night, Monday morning. And, I'll speak to you later. Up the Bloods.
All right, Doge, welcome back to the 100K Sunday roast. We're taking over from Jev. We won't kill the momentum because it's been a hell of a show so far. I believe next game you're up to Gold Coast versus Geelong. So the Suns win 73-54. Paddy Dangerfield kicked the first at $23. It's unbelievable, Dars. Tom Stewart back, first game back, had 30 disposals. Big Jack Malcolm Blight Lukosius, he kicked 5 with one of them, was dead set from 70 metres. If you haven't seen that, make sure you go and have a look at that. You back Lukosius, Doge, did you not? You ended the cold streak?
I did. If you guys will be carrying on listening to this, we've been having some good markets. Like Dan Butler's paying $61 for 4. I'm like, who else can pay some cash for the rest of today? I went to actually put Lukosius in for 4. You couldn't. You could only get him for 3. So I sprinkled 5 on him for 3 at 29 to 1. So there's a little 145 in the kicker. Morgs, I've been colder than an igloo. I'll tell you what, so maybe this is the breakout, but tell you what, Lukosius, I just had a feeling he might play a little bit more up forward, so he played really well, but the Suns, they've been saying all week that it was going to be a danger game. They got plus 16 points at home, and it just seems like home dogs, Morgs, have been covering. The Bulldogs got that extra allowance at home against Brisbane, which I didn't take, which I probably should have. So it's definitely something we'll be looking at going a little bit later on the year. But, geez, they just had a crack. And they said even Isaac Smith got interviewed at halftime, and they asked him what it's like. He's like, it's way slipperier than what it is in Geelong. And the Suns just played it really well. I thought Lockie Weller was unbelievable. Coming back, he only had like a 9-month ACL, and he's like back into it. He had 29 disposals. As you said, Tom Stewart was amazing, and Matt Rao, he doesn't get noticed enough, and his fantasy points will never be high because he just gets so much contested footy. But he had 24 disposals, 18 contested, 9 clearances. But the votes, Morgs, I'd have to give Lukosius 5, Tom Stewart 2. He's 29 disposals, Morgs, at 93%, and then Lockie Weller for 1 vote.
That's unbelievable. You know it's good betting, Das, when you can't bet on someone for any more goals and you've had the 3. So well done to you. The Cats go to 0-3. You'd have to say they're in a bit of trouble, or do you not overreact too soon?
Well, as they were looking at the rest of their games, like even when they lost the other one, they're like, oh, I think the Cats will be all right. Like they've got the Hawks next week on Good Friday, which you still think they'll get rid of them. And then they have the Eagles after that. So you think that they're going to notch up a couple. If they lose one of the next 2, they're in strife.
Easter Monday against the Hawks. But even that, like that's no, I mean, I know the Hawks aren't great, but that's no easy win. Just considering where they are on the ladder, but you just think that's always a closest game, don't you think?
Yeah, well, you saw the Hawks. Like, you give a shit team a sniff, and they have a go, especially these young kids. So I don't know. It's gonna be very interesting to see how the Cats respond next week. But geez, these little markets, Morgs, I reckon this is something we'll look into. Just the odd roughie for about 3 or 4 goals, not even having to take it in a multi, just taking it as a 1 out. So absolutely loving that.
Definitely. You're 100% right. You were sort of hitting it on inside dough, but moving these lines around, it probably doesn't get done enough. We do it heaps in NFL season, but in AFL season, like last night you were talking about, could get $1.30, I think, for Adelaide, plus 38? And they ended up winning. Like that was never going to be outside 38 points in a showdown. Like some bets like this, but probably need to see themselves in the 100K as well, to be honest.
Yeah, we just need to give it a little bit more time because obviously the numbers are skewed. This will probably lead us into the next game because we actually did have the Swans plus 24.5 in multiple multis. And I was sweating this one at 3/4 time, messaging I actually FaceTime you. Yuck, mate, you're fine. And then they come out and get absolutely smacked in the last quarter. But Morgs, D Swans. Fuck.
You're right. It's kind of disappointing that Jev isn't on the show. He was at the game, which is why I'm on. But I would love to hear his thoughts straight away. But yeah, the D's, they did a job on the Swans in the end, 134-84. So they won by 50 points. The D's had 12 goal scorers, Das, which sort of sums it up. It was just a pretty an all-round performance. After that the Swans had a good crack late in the second quarter, but after that it was sort of smoothish sailing for the D's. The debutant, now I don't know how you pronounce it. Is it Jacob Van Ruin, Das?
Yeah,
he kicked 3. He was paying $4.60 for 3. So, I mean, you probably can't say that we should have had that, but that's a great market. Clary in his 150th. He kicked 2 and had 25. $17 he paid for 2 Das, and I'll let you say it, but Jev had probably one of the best bets I've seen in the last 2 or 3 years.
Jev had a nice little multi. So this paid over 100. So he had, for everyone listening, I'm sure you would have seen on the socials already, but he had Clary for 2. He loves Clary and loves Papley. So Papley for 3. So 5 goals between those guys. He had $840 on it to win $840. So that is just an incredible bet by Jev. But the Swans, you can't be letting a team kick 6 goals to 1 in the first quarter. They were just trying to crawl back after that. they gave it a pretty good effort. Tom Papley was one of their best, kicked 3 goals. But it was just too far in between. They came close towards that 3-quarter time, and then Melbourne just put the foot on the accelerator and just absolutely smashed them at contest. And then that was the end of it. They piled on about 4 or 5 goals. Oh, for anyone that is watching, this is what we were fearing. Luke Shuey's done his hammy, and it looks like McGovern's just done his hammy as well. So the West Coast Eagles are fucked.
I was watching on 503. I'm watching some 2020 South Africa versus the Netherlands. So we'll check in with that. Alex Neil Bullen, he kicked the first at $23. Petrarca had 32. He was paying $2.40 for 30. I think Jordan Lewis, I know the 100K, we're not a massive fan of Geordie Lewis, but I think he probably summed it up. The Swans had 2 pretty easy wins first 2 rounds, and it looked like they were just stunned coming out of the box, playing a pretty decent side in Melbourne. I think that's probably true, and probably a little bit shades of the grand final last year does.
Yeah, well, especially after getting manhandled last week against Brisbane, I thought they would have been pretty disappointed. So you knew they were going to come out and try and play really well on the home deck, but God, it's such an interesting year of footy. Some teams, it's just no one's put, apart from Collingwood, 3 really good consistent games together. It's just been very up and down. But votes, you pretty much watched most of the game.
I did.
What would your votes be off the top of your head?
I struggle with this. Like, even writing down the stats, Petrarca was good, 32. I do love goals, though. Like, only had 25, Clary, but 25 and 2 is such a good game. Who'd you give the 3 to?
It's probably going to be, you're splitting hairs between those two. Take it, whatever you want. You might think because Petrarca got maybe a few more clearances, ran it out a little bit more compared to Clary, but then Clary's got the 2 goals. So, I don't know, split those how you will. I'm pretty sure we'll go on behalf of Jev. Jev will probably go Clary, let's go Petrarca, and Callum Mills still had a pretty good game, or you can give Tom Papley a goal. I thought he tried really hard. You could split the point between pretty much all the Melbourne players. They had a fucking good game.
Swans have a pretty interesting month, really. They got Port Adelaide at home. They should win that. Then they got Richmond away, Geelong away, and then Giants at home. So that's a bloody interesting month for the Swans coming up. And Jev will be a little bit nervous, I reckon.
Fuck, that is tough.
Very tough.
It's going to be so interesting to see what the next few games. It's like Melbourne have the Eagles, the Bombers, the Tigers, and the North. So they should run through and try and get a few more wins there. I've got them finishing on top of the D, so they really flexed their muscle today. And now in this game, you've got West Coast down by about 2 goals. Freo just hitting the front. This game has nowhere near as much flair as what the showdown does.
No, definitely not. I think it's just in Perth. Footy in Perth's no good, unless the Blues are playing.
Yeah, and Mark Murphy's kicking goals after the siren. Or Jackie Nunes.
Is that us?
That's us. That's right. So there's not too much to report on those last few games, but I'll tell you what, we will be looking at some of those little markets, and I've just got a message from Jev here.
Please.
Here we go. For anyone listening, this week, Dobe, we hit Papley for 3, Oliver for 2, Rankin for 4, Lukosius for 3. Oh, he said that's what we would have hit. That almost would have been a 100K multi in itself.
So you're right, though. The multiple goals, you only need 1 or 2 to get up, and you're up for the week.
Yeah.
So next 100K will be out. So we're going the Footy Friday, Good Friday, Carlton North. So it's gonna come out earlier on Friday. Hook, line, and sinker Wednesday ish. Yep. Wednesday sort of ish. Look out for that. That's YouTube only. You'll see a reel for that on Insta. Das, any what do you do a final?
Because it's good. I got the Monday off. We could actually genuinely have a Sunday roast.
Hello, that'd be unreal.
Live in studio.
I don't mind that. That'd be good viewing. Real good viewing. An even better podcast.
All right. Hey, Sunday roast. Let's go. Hey, we've got some big bets coming up, so hopefully this information was incredible. Another good week of footy, Morgs.
Hey, thanks, Dars. Jev will be back next week.
Hey, enjoy your evening.
Cheers.
Let's go.